Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal, and Season 2 of War Within only recently launched, with everybody, for the most part, focusing on gearing out their mains as quickly as possible. But with so many amazing class updates and entire spec revamps, it'll be a shame to miss out on so many fun playstyles during this brand new season. So while I am spending majority of my time gearing out my rogue for this tier, I do want to spend some time on my ult, so gearing them as efficiently as possible is of utmost priority. And so far, I've been able to try a couple of different methods of starting to gear my ults while spending the least amount of time on them as possible, looking to make the most amount of gains while being pretty time sensitive in order to create as much value for enjoying multiple characters within a brand new season. And I wanted to go over some of the different ways that you can also start to gear all of your ults right now. So some of the little things that you can do, whether you prefer solo content, open world content, or group content, some of the ways that you can efficiently start to get some items and item levels on any of your ults, while still primarily spending majority of your time playing your main within Season 2. So in this video, I'm going to go over how I'm currently efficiently gearing my ults as of this moment. As always, if you guys want to see more guides and updates for the patch 11.1, be sure to follow the channel and subscribe. But otherwise, let's dive right in. As somebody who loves the class of Rogue, I'm having a lot of fun in Season 2, but I also really love playing all these different ults, checking out all the different playstyles and the bits of gameplay, especially from what I've been able to experience during PTR. And while there was a bit of criticism regarding these new tier sets, I do like some of the gameplay changes many of them do offer. And there's so much cool flavor and variety on these, and I cannot wait to start playing all of these ults and having fun when it comes to endgame content. But the time to share between all of these characters is very small. So what are the most effective ways for you to be able to gear those ults on the side while still, for the most part, prioritizing your main? Well, the first way I found out is the easiest way to gear ults, at least one of the better ones, is actually the open world content of Undermine, specifically the world boss which spawns on the northern side, got near the Demolition Dome Delve, actually right next to it in fact. That world boss is a little bit different than some of the other world bosses because the gear that it drops, which surprising to many, is actually war bound. Normally world bosses just give you gear that, you know, binds to a character, maybe a warbound item on the side, but all of the items, the champion track pieces, are warbound to your character. So even if I go on my rogue and I get a cloth pants, which I actually got the first time I saved the boss, I can immediately funnel it to my warlock. And that's the champion track item with like 4 in 640 item level range, which is very solid for that character in general. Even though my rogue didn't really get anything useful, I do want to gear my ults eventually. So every single week, you should definitely do the world boss on as many old characters as you can. Join up in the group, take a couple of minutes to slay him, log off back at the inn, swap to another character, and do that again. By doing this on every one of your characters, that's a chance for you to be able to get a bunch of champion track items, either something that character can use or maybe one of your other characters could use as well. And it's one of those activities that's worth doing on your main also, because since the items are warbound, you can then get them on your main, send them or put it in a bank, pick them up on your ult, and then use them immediately. In general, I love the warband gear system, and I love what they did with the world boss specifically because it ends up being a useful world boss even on my main character. I'm eventually going to outgrow that champion track pieces, but my ults are going to definitely love them. And I think we definitely should have more events and more world bosses like this in the future. But the world boss is one of the easiest ones that takes you only a few minutes, definitely worth your time. Outside of that, solo content, especially being able to do it on your own without having to find a group, ends up being usually one of the better activities when it comes to gearing your ults, and delves ends up being an excellent activity for ult gearing, at least early on. Whether you're looking for efficient gearing within the delves themselves for the time spent, or if you're looking to really fill out your great vault with a bunch of hero track items, delves continue to be a really solid option on the ult characters. Right now it is a little bit harder to get a lot of the keys, and as the season progresses, you'll be able to immediately dive into the inventory of Surfingly Murgaton. I assume they're going to put the keys back on the vendor. Yes, they do have a couple of them, so you will be able to buy restored coffer keys for undercoins, which seems like that's actually kind of an expensive amount because you are going to need to spend it on other items as well in order to get even more gear upgrades like the Wave Scrambler, but at the very least there will be an opportunity for you to be able to buy and get more keys in the future through easy means. But even doing open world content, whether you're doing the theater, whether you're doing the surge pricing in the Mechagon area, Hollowfall zone, the special assignments on every single zone, which only has you do a couple of world quests. Usually I try to focus on doing the Valor Stones world quest just so I have some currency to upgrade my items for later. All of those things really do go by very, very quickly on any of your old characters, especially when you log in as the event begins. And then from there, you spam tier 8 delves. With the changes that are done to Bran, you can outfit him as a DPS, healer, or as a tank, which gives you so many different configurations for Bran to make delve experiences easier, even if you're going into tier 8 delves on a very undergeared character. They don't take a lot of time, especially some of the newer delves, especially Street Side Sleuths in the Undermine specifically, gotta be the fastest delve out there. So if you ever get that as a bountiful delve, that one is definitely worth running in my opinion, just for the time that it takes. And with the changes to the delve system, you can now get maps from delves with bad luck protection. Every time you complete a delve and you don't get a map on that character, you get higher chances to get a map for your next run and the next run. And pretty consistently I've been able to get maps on all of my old characters. But also just looting around the delves allows you to get a lot of these smaller treasures scattered all over the zones, and you might be able to chance upon an item that can guarantee you a map. And if you don't get one, you can always just purchase it from Murgaton. It is a little expensive, but Wave Scrambler allows you to spawn in the Nemesis for that season as a guarantee. The reason why this item is so good is because the Nemesis guaranteed drops you a map for that character, and you can actually loot this item from some of the mislaid treasures scattered all over the interior of delves, so it's definitely worth looting them. So it seems that they're definitely worth picking up on while you're inside of the delve anyway. But the chances for you to get a map with a guaranteed hero track item for the alt character is very, very high. And in my opinion, delves ends up being one of the best solo activities you can do to outfit your character, not only with champion track items from the end of the run of the delve, as long as you have a bountiful key, but also hero track items either from the map or from the Nemesis encounter. However, if you're not a fan of solo content and rather do group stuff, they did upgrade Mythic Plus dungeons by quite a bit. Lower tier M Plus, specifically M0s, which are not only the easiest ones to get into, since the enemies and the item level requirements for most players usually not super challenging. You don't need the highest item level to get on them, but also every single one of the bosses on Mythic 0 has a chance to drop champion track items. Now on Mythic Plus, normally you get gear at the end of a run, and there's a chance that you might be able to get an item from any of the bosses on the loot table, but when you run the dungeon on Mythic 0, every boss has a chance to drop items, with most bosses being a 4 boss instance. That's 4 chances for you to be able to get champion track items, which are all pretty solid, with the final boss also awarding you additional currencies to further upgrade any gear you might have been able to get from those instances. And there's a lot of dungeons that are available for Mythic 0. Not only the current seasonal dungeons, but generally the entire roster of War Within dungeons. This means the Season 1 dungeons from War Within, but also Season 2. So you can do dungeons like Cinderbrew, Rookery, Priory, but then you could also dive into a Theater of Pain as a Mythic 0, Motherlode as Mythic 0, as well as Floodgate and Mechagon as Mythic 0, which gives you even more chances at potentially picking up additional loot for any one of your characters. Mythic 0s also go by a lot faster than Mythic Plus, and with every single boss having a chance to drop your loot, they are far more rewarding and far worth your time. They're not as good at dropping the Valor Stones and Crest currencies, because I think Mythic Plus system generally does that better, but when you just try to gear up a character with a bunch of champion track items, the Mythic 0s probably ends up being one of the best group activities for you to dive into immediately during the early days of Season 2. But for now, that's going to be, in my opinion, all of the activities that are the easiest when it comes to trying to gear your alts with the least amount of time spent, while still primarily focusing on your main, at least at the beginning of a new season. As always though, I want to thank all of you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys did enjoy this update. If you did enjoy it or found it informative, go ahead and give it a like. I would very much appreciate it. I'll probably make another update when we get additional events or some kind of like a holiday or some kind of like another weekly bonus that allows us to get even more gear, and I'll be sure to update you guys once it is made available. As always, let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below, and as always, I'll see all of you guys in the next one.